Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Alicia. I am the owner and maker of It's a Craft Thing. And so in this week, I'm going to do 4 different coasters. And so the first one I'm going to do is bottle caps. So I have a ton of beer bottle caps that my husband and his friends collect when they're, drinking beer by the fire or whatever. I have a bunch of different kinds and I'm like, wouldn't it be fun to make a coaster? And this is going to be one of these larger coasters. And the reason why I like it to be big is because they have like the beer pints, which are really wide at the bottom, so the teeny tiny little coasters just aren't going to work. And so I decided to go larger with these. Plus, the bottle caps are taller, and so some of the smaller coaster molds didn't work. So these worked really perfectly. So my idea was to go in with black resin at the bottom and then stack the bottle caps on top. Well, I only used about 20 mLs of epoxy in this particular mold, and it just wasn't enough. And actually, the saturation of the black wasn't enough either. And I'll show you what I did later on. But I put it at the bottom, and you see up there, I got my heat gun going, trying to soften it up and spread it out. So I actually added about 5 more mLs, and it was a little bit better, but still not perfect. So now I let it sit for a little bit, like about 15 minutes, and now I'm going to go in with my caps. So the idea was to kind of set them on top of the epoxy. I didn't let it sit long enough, so the bottle caps mostly sank to the bottom, which wound up working out okay, although I did have a bubble underneath one, which is fine because it's the bottom of the coaster and I'm not really all that upset about it. But so I get these in, and they're kind of hard to arrange in that it's I didn't get the coverage that I wanted, but I was actually overall happy with it. There was some space in between, which I expected and I was okay with too. So I'm just kind of arranging these and pushing them around. So just make sure your epoxy isn't too set up. So I thought maybe setting it up was going to be a better idea, but actually not letting it set up is better for moving these around when you're trying to arrange them and get them in there nicely. And so it took a little bit, but I hit it with my heat gun again to soften it up a little bit and just kind of hit them. All right, so now I'm going to come in, and I did the same thing. I'm just using the same color bottle cap throughout. And after they set up, I topped it off with clear resin, and here is the final one. So you see how that's like really like you see through, and the bubble there, basically the bubble underneath there. I wound up spray painting the back of that. I took it outside and I spray painted it. The dark gray one wound up being okay, but this one wasn't black enough for me, so I spray painted the edges and the black in the background, and I absolutely loved the way it came out. And this is the perfect size for my husband's gigantic beer sign that our son bought him for Christmas. Look at that. Perfect. All right, so coaster number 2. I used this glitter from Glitter Makes It, and I will have it linked down below. And I mixed up some, I can't even remember how many mLs. So, depending on the coaster you use, I usually write on the bottom of my coasters how much epoxy I need to fill the coaster. I did not do that with this coaster mold, which I did pick up from Amazon, and I love because of that holographic effect that it gives. So I poured that down, popped for bubbles, and now guess what I'm doing? I'm taking this like puck light. That's what I'm calling it. I don't think that's what it's called. It's the flashy light thing that is like really super thin and has that adhesive. I cover it with plastic wrap, and I just set it on top of the epoxy and let it set up. And so the reason why I do that is so that that comes out and it fits perfectly in that indentation. And I didn't want to stick it in the epoxy directly because you can change the batteries out on this. So when the battery runs out, you can pull it out and change it. So the holographic is just absolutely stunning. I love it against this particular glitter. And look how fun it is when you put a glass on top of it. All right, so coaster number 3. I did not show you how I did this. I was attempting to do a blooming flower. So it's, you do the clear epoxy and you drop in your alcohol inks and then you swirl it with the white, and that was the result. I consider it to be a fail. Even though it's pretty, it's not the blooming effect. So I decided, you know what, I'm just going to add a top layer of epoxy with a little bit of ultra fine shimmer glitter from Glitter Makes It in there and call it a day. So I'm not completely unhappy with it. It just wasn't the blooming flower. So I spread that around. I let it cure. I I am going to keep this for myself. This isn't something I would try to sell because I don't consider it to be a complete success, but it's not a complete fail either. So I'm going to show you in the next clip how pretty it looks with the Ultra Fine Glimmer Shimmer. So it's it really is kind of pretty. All right, so the final and fourth coaster that I decided to show you was this 3D printed castle coaster. And so I've been doing a lot of 3D printing, and I wanted to know, does vinyl stick to this filament? And so I cleaned it off with 91% alcohol, as I normally do. I have this rose gold vinyl, and I stuck it down, and guess what? It sticks. I was so happy that it sticks. But you know me being extra and not, I really love my glitter, so I did some ultrafine shimmer and epoxy on this one and just layered it on top to give it a really super pretty shimmer. The queen coaster is for me. This 3D print is not mine, and I will list and link down below who designed this. It is for personal use only, so this coaster will not be going anywhere but under my or under my glass for drinking. But be sure to check out his stuff. He's got some pretty cool prints, and I'm not affiliated with him at all. I just looked up castle coaster and found this, and it printed up very nicely. So here it is, all finalized. This is my queen coaster, and I think I should make myself some sort of a fun castle themed tumbler. Tell me what you think in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe, share, comment. I love to hear your feedback. All those things help my channel to grow, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.